Greetings, people of Earth. Welcome back. My name is Jax, and today we are on chapter 48 of the Tao. This one has been translated as Loss Upon Loss. And essentially, it is about the subtracting of complexity in your life, in the world. And what I mean by that is many philosophies, many practices, many religious traditions, many hobbies and skills involve acquiring new knowledge and building your knowledge base and adding different things into your life, incorporating different beliefs and practices into your life. Taoism isn't like that. Taoism is you're learning a few specific things, a few universal laws, some just wisdom, and then you are removing a huge amount of complexity and just stuff from your life. You're taking things away. Taoism essentially is teaching you that it is time to remove what is superfluous, remove what is not needed. And I have to say, as somebody who has kind of embraced Taoism for a little bit now, and it resonated with me immediately, I have found I have removed so much noise and background radiation from my life, and I've really simplified what I do, who I associate with, who I hang out with, what I share, and just what I do in a day is a lot more simplified. It's not necessarily that I'm doing nothing, but I don't incorporate the same kind of feverish activity that I used to. I'm far more interested in meaningful connection, understanding, a hot cup of water in the morning. This is just hot water. Like that's all it is. It keeps my hands warm and keeps me happy and smiling. So also the cat's outside meowing, so apologies for that, but I can't do anything about it, She's just gonna do that. Anyway, so loss upon loss. I think I'm gonna read this one and we'll go over it. It's pretty short because it's about just removing things, so it'd be kind of weird if it was a long passage. But loss upon loss. Through study, one adds knowledge daily. In practicing the Tao, one subtracts daily. Loss upon loss until one reaches a state of non-doing. Through not doing, everything may be done. The empire is won by not interfering. Interfere, and the empire will never be won. So, that's it. That's the passage. It makes me think of, so I studied history in university, and I had a history teacher who specialized in the British Empire. And he talked about how, he said, it's funny, like the more I study the British Empire, the more I realize that it kind of happened by accident. And all of us university students were kind of confused by that. What do you mean the British Empire was an accident? And he says, well, it starts as sort of an exploratory mission to go find other land and to try and find a passage to India because economics wise, they wanted like a cheap way to get goods back and forth. And so he's like, so like that was kind of the motivation. And then they found like the New World, North and South America, and sort of the empire kind of kicks into gear as an economic unit, and it just kind of develops. It wasn't exactly like one or two people deciding we're going to have an empire that, spans the globe, involves sort of slavery and economic development and feudalism and all of these, like nobody designed it. It sort of naturally, I know it sounds kind of wrong to say that it happened naturally, but this professor was convinced that it sort of evolved because it was sort of like, well, if this is this, then we need to do this in order to do this. And it sort of became this unit, essentially, that shaped our history and is today, even shaping our history and politics and all of that. But there wasn't exactly some kind of beginning or like definitive end to it, you know? And so like when this translation says the empire is won by not interfering, I think about how if you can think of any particular venture or enterprise that somebody has undertook or adventure that somebody has taken, the best ones tend to be the ones that sort of spontaneously occurred or developed naturally and weren't sort of like if you've ever had a friend that comes to you and says, I'm gonna learn Spanish because I think it's gonna be really awesome, or you know, a friend that sort of comes to you with some sort of thing that they're wanting to do and then they're gonna make it happen. And I don't know, I find oftentimes when I hear about things like this, they don't tend to work because people are trying to really force something and they're really trying to, you know, bend the universe to their will, and that never works. But you often hear about people who like, oh yeah, I had this opportunity to live in Spain for a year, and so, you know, I learned Spanish and I had real fun. Like, you know, I really didn't think that I was going to make it work or anything, but it just naturally worked. Or how many times you've talked to somebody about their long-term husband or wife or relationship, and they're like, yeah, at first I really didn't like them, you know, like, but, you know, he eventually like won me over, and, you know, I'm so glad he did because I love him. I hear a lot of stories like that where nobody was explicitly going to look for something or trying to make something work, but it just happened. Life just happened. I think that's a good explanation for this idea of loss upon loss. And you really don't have to try so hard. The way life unfolds naturally, it puts you where you're going to be, and it sort of creates things naturally. I'm not advocating for just sitting back in life and not doing anything. I think, no, you absolutely need to, you know, take life into your own hands and do what you need to do. And if there is something that you truly want, analyze why you want it and then go for it. You know, I don't think, I'm not advocating for just living on the sidelines of life. But the idea of removing complexity still stands. And if you are somebody who has a very complex, busy, hectic life, if you like it, by all means, like, I would never tell anybody to live a life they didn't want to. However, if you look at your life and you think, man, this is just too much complexity, this is too fast-paced, anxiety-riddled, stressful, I'm not eating the way I want to eat, I'm not connecting with the people I want to connect with, then consider what can leave, what can go, what can you remove from your life that is not beneficial. And sometimes it'll be practices or habits, sometimes it'll be people. There will be people in your life that you think, oh, I really don't need you in here, you know, this is not a good situation, we've got to change this up. And so that's kind of the idea of subtracting from your life. When you embrace Taoism, you really do come to a point where it's like, you know what? I don't need this. I need a lot less, and I will be happier for it. And it's true. It works like that. So I'll quickly touch again on not doing Wu Wei, non-action, because it explicitly mentions it twice. So again, the power of non-action is so strong. I was talking with a friend recently, and they are going through some relationship stuff, and she was basically explaining how she really wants this relationship to work, but the other person in the relationship really isn't there, isn't doing the work, isn't, you know, mutually involved. And I said to her, you know what? I think you really want to take your hands off the situation, and if this person doesn't respond and you don't see them again, that's your answer. You know, you can't, don't you want to know that this other person is as invested in you as you are in them? And so by taking your hands off the situation and just seeing where it goes, it gives you a good indication of, is this person serious? Do I even want this? Because I said, wouldn't you want to know, you know, like 30 years down the road, that you guys are together because both of you want to be there, not because you just pushed it and, you know, you were diligent and you communicated properly, you did all the right things, and you sort of willed this relationship into existence. No, you want to know that both people are there because they love each other. And, you know, she sort of agreed to that, and we will see where that goes. But it's a good point. Do you want a relationship to work just because you willed it to work? You did everything right, and you communicated, and you push this relationship into where it should be? Or do you want it to be this natural thing that was meant to be? And I think that's a good idea of non-action. Is, I don't need to do as much. I can see if this is going to actually work, and if it is, great. If not, you know, see ya. I will move on. And that's the approach I take in my life as well. You know, if something isn't meant to be, it's not meant to be, and what will be will be. I don't have to manipulate a situation so hard in order to find the friends and the people I want to be with, or to do the things that I want to do. Those things are going to naturally happen. And it doesn't mean I don't try hard, but I don't have the anxiety that I used to have about life and relationships and those kinds of things, because I've removed a whole lot from my life. It's simplicity. So that is my daily advice. Thank you guys for watching. Please feel free to leave your comments, questions, everything down below. And I hope you have an amazing day. The sun is rising. The cat is happy, finally. And as always, guys, I will talk to you guys tomorrow.